Hi, my name is Rizky from acreativealt, and in this video, I'm going to highlight why a lot of green screen compositing looks bad and of course how to improve it. Live stream has become like the new standard, especially for many of us and events like. One thing that I commonly see nowadays is of course the use of a green screen and later on replace the background and change it with something else. Of course, this is a pretty old method in filmmaking, and this is actually the basic of any types of visual effects, whereby you put a color, remove the color, replace that particular color with an object or with a background that you want to add on to the particular video itself. The reason why many of the green screen compositing that we see are bad is of course the fact that it is actually not easy to do. People also understand that when you put a solid color background, you can remove the background out, just like what we do in Photoshop, whereby you just click the color, delete it away and put something else. And that is definitely the basic of any green screen edit. But if it's so easy, why don't we see this on Hollywood movies all the time? Of course, we do see this on many Hollywood movies and it gets much more common nowadays. In theory, it sounds so simple, whereby you just record it on a studio, then you can just put any backgrounds later on. But the key things here is actually how to match the subject and the background later on, which is actually the most difficult thing to do when you're actually talking about these types of compositing. So here are a few things on why a lot of green screen compositing looks bad and how you can improve it further. So the first thing is the fact that many of green screen footages was actually shot with not enough lights. The idea about these types of green screen compositing is the fact that we remove a color that is not being used on the main subject, which is the person most of the time. And that is the reason why we actually use either green or blue, because our skin doesn't have any blue or green. When we remove the color, none of our skin is getting removed. But when you don't light up the scene properly, certain parts that are closer to the subject gets really murky, whereby it's no longer green, but it's kind of being affected by the color of your subject, even become just simply a shadow color, which is black. So when you actually remove out this particular background, it wasn't actually being removed properly, so you can see all these like dirty edges around. Now that now zoom, you can actually just put a virtual background on it, but you can see sometimes it looks pretty bad, especially on the edges, because the fact that the software doesn't actually recognize where is your outline. So if you don't actually see nice outline on your subject, chances are when you remove the background, certain parts of the outline will get affected. In order for us to improve it is of course to improve the lights. So make sure that your subject have a dedicated light, and of course the background to have dedicated light as well. So it has differentiations between the background and the subject. Another thing that makes green screen compositing looks pretty bad is the fact that the background color spills into the subject, whereby you can see like a green outline surrounding the subject itself. When you actually remove the green, some parts of the subject gets removed at the same time. Or if you don't remove enough, you can see a little bit of a greenish tint on the subject. In order for us to improve this, is actually to have a distance between the subject and the background, so that the color of the background doesn't spill to your subject. And lastly, and I think this is the hardest thing to do, is actually to have a matching lights from your green screen footage to your visual background. In Hollywood, they always create a custom backgrounds whereby they actually build the background from scratch. They match the actual footage with the 3D models that they do. So typically when you are simply using a generic virtual background, the light source between the backgrounds and the subject doesn't actually match. Therefore, it actually creates a gaps in terms of realism. In order for you to match the background and the subject well, you have to make sure the visual backgrounds and the subject that is being shot on a green screen has a similar light source. In order for us to improve it, it's actually pretty simple. You need to take note on the light source when you actually shoot the video. So an example, let's say my light source actually comes from this angle, as you can see on my shadow here. I need to create a background that has the light source comes from this angle as well. I will have a step-by-step green screen video edit on my next tutorial, which if you are doing a green screen video edit, you can probably refer to that. I personally don't really like visual backgrounds on online live stream platform nowadays. I would rather have the actual backgrounds because it looks much more natural. But of course, what do you think about virtual backgrounds? So with that, I hope this video is useful. Thank you so much for watching and I see you next time.